Hey, my marketing and sales friends. Now, whether you are part of the SugarCRM community already or not, the next hour is for you. Yes, you. That's right. Before we dive in, I just want to give you some props for taking some time out of your busy schedule to challenge some conventional wisdom and to learn some new things. So, here's a little applause for all of you. You deserve it, my friends. Okay, and while we're applauding, let's take a moment to give it up for the SugarCRM team for empowering us with a great platform that allows us to close faster, at higher margins, more often, with less work. All right, so thank you, SugarCRM, for putting this together as well. All right, here's the deal. I have spent the last 2 weeks putting together a fun, an interesting, informative, and a thought-provoking session for you, and I truly hope you enjoy it. Now, we are going to be taking your questions live at the end of this session, so anytime you have a question, go ahead, type it into the Q&A box. I'm here in the chat with you. We're watching together, and at the end of it, we're going to get to as many questions as we can, so ask away whenever it pops in your mind, okay? Now, here's the deal. B2B or B2C marketing has never been more complicated, more convoluted, more confusing, or more overwhelming. Why? Well, because in the B2B marketing and sales world, there is always something new and there's always something next. For example, how are you guys doing with your LinkedIn Live videos? Are you and your team just streaming live at least once a week? Well, that's what we're told to do. We're told you should be. Are you guys buying those LinkedIn ads? Are they bringing in tons of new prospects for you? Because we're told they should be. You see, as a B2B marketer, there's always something new and there's always something next. And every time we chase that next big thing in B2B marketing, our marketing plans get a little more complicated, a little more overwhelming, and maybe a little more convoluted. Every time we add another new or next big thing, we spread our budgets, our resources, and even our time even thinner. Yeah, see, the truth is, our marketing pizza pie isn't getting any bigger. It's just getting sliced more ways. Yep, our marketing pizza pie isn't getting any bigger. It's just getting sliced more ways. Pizza time! Look at that. A piping hot Domino's pizza. All right, well, we're gonna get to this in just a few minutes, all right? So I'm gonna leave it right there. Look, if we're going to find a better way to maximize our marketing spend and our sales team's efforts, we need to reevaluate the fundamentals. Yes, we need to start questioning the underpinnings of our marketing and sales strategy. We need to question everything. So let's start by questioning the most basic of marketing fundamentals, and let's do it at the pool. The first thing we need to challenge is the funnel. You know what a funnel is, right? It's got a wide mouth and a small bottom, and this is the marketing and sales funnel. And at the top of the funnel is awareness. You've got to raise awareness for your brand, your product, your company in the marketplace. Now, some of those people who are aware of your brand might consider buying from you. And some of those people might show some intent to purchase. And some of those people might actually purchase your product or service. Then some of those people might become loyal advocates for your brand. Just these ones dropping out the bottom right there. Yeah, don't have enough of those? That's okay. Just go back to the top. Raise more awareness. You just need a bigger funnel. That's how it works. Very simple. You got to raise awareness for your brand in the marketplace. I'm a history buff, so I actually went back to find out when the funnel was invented. The funnel was invented in 1898. 1898 by a guy named St. Elmo Lewis. Now, he didn't draw a funnel, I'll give you that. He drew a scale, but the concept is fundamentally the same. 1898, by the way, is the very same year that Thomas Edison patented the light bulb. That's how old this concept is. Now, St. Elmo Lewis believed that if he just got the attention, interest, desire, and conviction in the mind of the consumer you were targeting, you would outweigh any objection to the sale, and you'd literally walk away with the sale. Yes, literally walk away with the sale, because this concept was used to help traveling salesmen. And it worked. All of a sudden, people were hooked. They were like, this is genius. 1898. What have we done since then? How has this concept evolved? Well, marketers and salespeople have tried to help us re-envision this. There's the mirrored triangles with an added gray arrow. By the way, I spent an hour trying to figure out if you need the gray arrow. You do not. It's just totally unnecessary. We just like arrows. It's fundamentally the same as in 1898. How about this one? Here is the funnel inside of a more complicated funnel with 2 blue arrows. Yeah, that's it. This is my favorite arrow in the world, by the way. It says, money in your pocket. It's like, hey, you guys having trouble with marketing? Oh no! Just do this. Just do all this stuff. And then look, money in your pocket, just shove it in. It's fundamentally the same as in 1898. How about this one here? This is the FU funnel. Some genius has inserted tofu, mofu, and bofu right there, right in the middle. I don't even know what that is. No one knows what it is, but it's fundamentally the same as in 1898. A lot has changed since 1898, my friends. Today we have cars, we have airplanes, we have radio, we have television, we have personal computers, we have the internet. I think we can all agree that the way we buy has changed since 1898. Why then? Why is the model we're using today fundamentally the same as in 1898? Look, there are 2 fundamental problems with the funnel. The first is it's linear. Yeah, we do not buy in a linear fashion. Watch your partner or spouse or kids buy anything. They have like 90 browser tabs open, right? That's not linear. The second problem is it relies on our ability to raise awareness. Not enough buyers or prospects, or that's okay. That's all right. You can't get nope, not enough. Yeah, just get a bigger funnel. Yeah, we need a new model that better represents how people buy today. Welcome to the light board. Now, let me introduce you to a new model, a new way to envision the consumer journey. And you'll notice immediately that it doesn't look like the funnel. You'll also notice that it has arrows, and from our history lesson, you should know that we love arrows. This is the new model, the new kind of consumer journey. And you should notice 2 things right away. Number 1, it's not linear. It's a series of interlocking loops, and this is how people buy today. The second thing you should know is you can start anywhere because it's not linear with a starting point here and an ending point there. You can start anywhere in this model. This model is what I call the loyalty loop. The loyalty loop. That's right. Now, let me explain how it works. No, you know what? Instead of me explaining how it works, that's pretty boring. Why don't we go on a journey to buy something together so that we see how it works, and I'll map the journey along the way. How does that sound? Let's go buy something fun, like, let's go buy a car. Our journey begins early in the morning. We've just made some coffee and we're sitting down at our kitchen table. Now, I like going through yesterday's mail in the morning with a cup of coffee in hand. That's good coffee. Now, the first thing I do is I pull out those Bed Bath & Beyond coupons. You know the ones, but it doesn't look like we got one this week, which is kind of a bummer, because even though there's an expiration date on those Bed Bath & Beyond coupons, they don't ever expire. That's a little pro tip for you guys. Now, I look for anything that's finance related. No. Nope. Aha! There we are. Here's an envelope from Nissan Finance. Now, we lease a Nissan Murano, and we're thinking to ourselves right now, as we sip our coffee, Oh my gosh, I bet we forgot to pay the lease last month. So we're like, you better read this, right? So we open the letter. Now, here's how we read letters. The first thing we do when we open up a letter is we actually look at who wrote this letter. This letter is from Rachel. Okay, now we imagine what Rachel sounds like, and then we read the letter as if we're Rachel, okay? Here we go.
Dear valued customer, thank you for choosing Nissan Finance as your dedicated finance source. Our records indicate that your lease will expire in 30 days.
30 days? 30 days? We have to buy a brand new car in 30 days? What kind of car are we gonna buy? I don't know, maybe a Nissan? Wait, freeze it! Freeze it right there. Let's go to the light board. Now, we need to freeze it right there because the first step in the new consumer journey, the loyalty loop, has just occurred. The first step in any consumer journey is called the moment of inspiration. That's right, the moment of inspiration. A moment of inspiration is an instant in time that sends you on a journey you never expected. A moment of inspiration is an instant in time that sends you on a journey you never expected. Now, we didn't wake up this morning expecting to buy a car. We didn't put the date on our calendar. We completely forgot that our lease is expiring. And now, reading that letter, we have just experienced a moment of inspiration, an MOI. Moments of inspiration happen for every type of purchase, no matter what it is, and they happen all the time. Let's say you're eating tuna salad for lunch, and you've got a meeting right after lunch, and suddenly you realize, wait a second, I bet I have tuna salad breath, I need some gum. Boom! That's a moment of inspiration. Or maybe you're just sitting in bed browsing through Instagram and you see your friend just posted this amazing picture of a meal she made in an Instant Pot. And you're like, oh my goodness, I need an Instant Pot. Boom! That's a moment of inspiration. Or maybe you buy your first boat and you have no idea how to dock it, and suddenly you say to yourself, you know what? I should probably get some serious boat insurance. Boom! That is a moment of inspiration, an instant in time that's sending you on a journey you never expected. Now, two things happen subconsciously and unintentionally every single time a moment of inspiration occurs. In fact, they already occurred while we were reading that letter. Did you guys see them? No? Okay. Let's do this. Let's rewind and then let's slow it down. And as we watch us read the letter again, let's see if we can identify the next two things that happen instantaneously, subconsciously, and unintentionally every time a moment of inspiration occurs. All right, unfreeze.
Your lease will expire in 30 days.
30 days? 30 days? We have to buy a car in 30 days? What kind of car are we gonna buy? I don't know, maybe a Nissan? Freeze it right there. Back to the light board. I'm frozen. All right, did you guys see it? Did you pick up those two things that happen subconsciously and unintentionally every time a moment of inspiration occurs? Let's break them down, okay? The first thing that happens every time a moment of inspiration occurs is a question pops into your mind. A trigger question. That's right. It's called a trigger question. A trigger question is the first question that pops into your mind anytime that moment of inspiration occurs. So our trigger question is, what kind of car are we going to buy? And immediately our brain wants to answer that question. In fact, our brain has a deep desire for an answer to every question and this deep aversion to any ambiguity. And immediately it wants an answer to that question. So we're sent on a journey we never expected to buy a car. We ask ourselves, what kind of car are we going to buy? That's the trigger question. And next thing you know, a prime brand, this is a magnet, a prime brand pops into our head. A prime brand. The prime brand is the first brand your brain thinks of when that trigger question occurs for that moment of inspiration. So, what's our prime brand? Our prime brand is Nissan. We're sitting there right at the kitchen table with an envelope that says Nissan Finance on it and letterhead that says Nissan. Nissan is our prime brand. Now, we can't buy a car right now. We've got other stuff we need to take care of, like, you know, head to work. Now, we're moving into the next phase in the journey. The next phase right here is called active evaluation. And in active evaluation, we are adding and subtracting brands as we move closer and closer to the next moment in our journey. So we're on our way to work. We're just listening to the radio, having a good morning, not thinking about buying a car at all because we've got other stuff to do. We cannot buy a car right now. We're stopped at a light and all of a sudden a car turns right in front of us and it's the brand new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Ha! Boom! We add the Jeep Grand Cherokee to our list because we like that new body style they've got and we think, maybe we should give that car a shot. We drive a little further, change radio stations, and all of a sudden, another car whizzes right past us. And we think, I think that's the Audi Q3. We test drove the Audi Q3 last time. Boom! We add it to the list. Now we're almost at the office when all of a sudden a beautiful white car pulls out right in front of us. It's getting a good pickup and I can't really read the brand on the back of the car. It's a car I've never seen before. It's probably brand new. I don't know. I accelerate just a little so I can catch up and it's a Porsche Macan. Never heard of it, but it's a nice looking car. Porsche Macan. Boom! It's on the list. Now we get to our office and we sit down at our desk and we go to the first place we all go to when we get on the web. What is it? Yeah, go ahead right now. If you know what it is, I want you to type it into the chat right now. What is it? Where do you go first when you get on the web for anything? Yeah, what is it? I'll open it up right now. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, we go to Google. We go to the Googs and we type it in. We type in our question. How much is a Porsche Macan? And then we take it off the list. This is how we buy. We're adding and subtracting brands as we move closer and closer to the next moment that matters most in the journey. Here's the thing, 90% of all consumers know what brand they want to work with before you've ever heard of them. That's right, according to Google, 90% of all consumers know what brand they want to work with before you've ever heard of them. That means they've already completed most of active evaluation before you've ever got their phone number or their email address or they've ever reached out. Okay, so look, we're gravitating towards the Audi Q3. We went to the Consumer Reports website, we watched lots of YouTube videos, we asked some friends who have Audi Q3s for a ride. We've read everything you could possibly read about Audi Q3s, and now we're finally going to a website of a dealership close to us. And we decide to set up an appointment to go test drive an Audi Q3. That's all we're doing. Now, we get to the website, and the moment we start entering our information, right here, we are executing the next step in our journey. This, right here, is the moment of commitment. Yeah. A moment of commitment is the instant we trade money, data, or time for products, services, information, or to support a cause. What's important here is that we've locked them up in a relationship that's more about information and data than it is just about money. It's not just about the sale. We need to remember that data and time are just as valuable as money, and we need to create an experience that feels that way. So we fill out the make an appointment form on the Audi dealer's website, first and last name, phone number, email address. We pick a time and date for our test drive appointment, and the instant we hit submit, is the moment we've executed a moment of commitment. Submit. And now we move into the loyalty loop. The loyalty loop. The loyalty loop is just a series of experiences that leave an impression. Imagine you attach an emoji to every interaction after a moment of commitment. How does it make the consumer feel? What is the feeling they would attach to every single little interaction? A loyalty loop is just a series of encounters that leave an impression. What impression are you leaving after that meeting, or after every email you send, or even after the sale?
You've got mail.
Oh, look at that. It looks like the Audi team has sent me an email confirmation. Let me just read it to you. Dear Andrew! Yeah, it's all caps. Thanks. Looking forward to our appointment for Thursday and April 11. Thursday and April 11? Is it Thursday? That's April. What is? I don't even know what that is. If you want to confirm or reschedule, please respond to this email or text me at salesperson phone. Salesperson Terry. What the hell? Terry, here's the emoji I attach to that email. See, that's the impression I get from the Audi experience so far. Attach an emoji to every interaction in your loyalty loop. What kind of impression are we leaving with every encounter we have? You see, a great loyalty loop experience is designed to create a new moment of inspiration that triggers a new question in the mind of your clients or consumers, their family and friends, audience or context, where you're the prime brand, and it leads them right to you, to a moment of commitment where you get to create another great loyalty loop experience. We must craft our loyalty loops. Use the customers, clients, prospects, and leads we've got to get more of the leads we want. It's the simplest way to build our brand and maximize our return on investment for the marketing energy and effort we put in. It has the highest rate of return. In fact, let me show you someone who's done this. Let's talk about building a loyalty loop by starting at the moment of commitment. Let me introduce you to John Bach. Now, we're going to get to this pizza in just a second. John is a tech guy, and a few years ago, to help pay his way through college, he got a job as the IT guy for a family-run printing business. It didn't take long for word to get around to other businesses that John could answer all your computer questions. In fact, the most asked question he got was, "Hey, which computer should I buy?" John would look over the computer specs these companies were considering, and he'd ask questions like, is this for video editing? Are you planning on doing engineering CAD design on this machine? Will you be crunching a lot of data since you're a biotech company? John realized that companies like Dell, HP, and even Apple weren't really providing these kinds of companies with the right kinds of machines. Often, John would say, hey, look, for your specific needs, I can build you a better, faster, quieter, more reliable machine designed to do exactly what you need it to do. And people responded. They'd say, can you build it for us? So John did. He converted a room in his parents' house into a little computer production line. He and his brother would order the parts on Monday, build the computers on Wednesday, and ship them out on Fridays. Soon, those build days were 20 hours long. You see, when you provide a great experience, word gets around fast. John shipped every machine with a special binder, and in it, he included your machine's benchmark test results. Not only had he built the machine, but he tested to make sure it would run better than the off-the-shelf machine from anywhere else. He showed how his machine was better. So, if you were an architect and using CAD, he'd test the machine and send you the results. If you were a production company doing video editing, he'd test the software on your machine and send you the results. Every step of the way, from the moment he ordered your parts to the moment he started testing to the instant the box arrived at your office, John would let you know how your machine was coming along. John's company is called Puget Systems, and it took off. Those video editors, graphic designers, engineers, and scientists told their peers about the amazing experience John provided. And it wasn't long before he moved out of his parents' house and had to hire some help. A lot has changed since John and his brother stayed up into the wee hours of the morning building machines. Today, 48 employees custom build computers for content creators, engineers, and scientists every single day. The one thing that stayed exactly the same since day one, the experience. Every day, his team of consultants conduct dozens of phone calls answering the exact same trigger question. And John's team keeps every client updated with a web interface instead of emails. Aha! And that's where this pizza comes in. You see, John's team tracks your computer build exactly like Domino's tracks your order. Both tell you exactly who is doing what when. Puget Systems production teams still benchmarks and tests your exact machine for your specific needs. And they even take pictures of your computer along the journey. Guess what? They still send you a binder and their clients love it. How do I know? Well, 2 reasons. Number 1, check social media and you'll see things like new Puget Systems machine outfitted with a new GPU. Can't wait to show you what we can come up with. Or, I'm feeling warm, fuzzy, and mega impressed with Puget Systems service. Waiting for my new PC and I got this note from Beth. Love. Or, just got these pics of my new PC from Puget Systems. I've never before experienced this level of customer service. Can't wait for it to arrive. And reason number 2, I've experienced it myself. This is my binder and my company's custom-built Puget Systems machine. It's built specifically for streaming live virtual presentations just like this one. Today, John's turned Puget Systems into a $50 million a year business. And it's not because they have a product you can't get anywhere else. In fact, you can order every component they spec out and have your 11-year-old niece put it together for you at a fraction of the cost. You see, John Bach understands something very simple. He understands that we don't sell a product or a service, we sell an experience. The truth is, we don't have to offer the best products or the best services. We do have to deliver the best experience. You see, a great experience is clearly communicated. It's ownable. It's referable. And amazingly, a great experience lasts longer. And most importantly, it's worth more. Maybe it's time we stop telling our prospects we're different. Instead, start showing them we're different. What if we transform our loyalty loop experience? Ask yourself, what emotion do I want my clients to feel with every interaction? I know, you don't sell custom computers. Well, actually, maybe you do, but chances are you don't. And maybe you're wondering how you could leverage John's approach in your business. I get it, so let's actually give it a shot right now. You see, you don't need a fancy system like Puget's Build Tracker or the Domino's Pizza Tracker to create a loyalty loop experience. All you need is an email address or a phone number. That's it. And I'm sure you have both of those right there in your Sugar platform right now. So let the platform do the work. You see, what John is doing is he's raising anticipation for that next step in the buyer journey. And you can do the exact same thing. Okay, so let's just imagine that you set up like a Zoom call with a prospect for next Wednesday. And you send a calendar invite and then you think you're done. No, you're not. Because if you want to create an HD customer experience, a high definition customer experience, one of the easiest ways to do it is to actually raise anticipation for that meeting, just like Puget Systems does with their build tracker. So imagine you send an email 2 days before your meeting that says something like, "Hey Andrew, I'm so looking forward to our chat this Wednesday, and after spending a few minutes on your website, I've identified 3 things we should chat about. Looking forward to telling you what I found. See you soon on Zoom." All right, that's the email you send. Now, what you're doing here is creating a curiosity gap that gets your prospect more excited about that next step in their journey. You're just raising anticipation, just like Domino's or Puget Systems. They want to know, what are those 3 things that you found? Okay, now you know what a loyalty loop looks like, right? It's just a moment of commitment that leads to a new moment of inspiration. But here's the important thing to know. A truly exceptional loyalty loop isn't a one-time flat experience. It's not a one-time loop, okay? You're looking at it from the top right now. It's more like a spiral, okay? Think of it as an expanded slinky, just like this. You guys remember the slinky? It starts with one moment of commitment right up here that leads to a new moment of inspiration, that leads to a new moment of commitment, that leads to a new moment of inspiration, that leads to a new moment of commitment, and a new moment of, and on and on and on it goes, okay? A loyalty loop takes doubters at the top and turns them into believers. It's just micro interactions, micro moments that build up a relationship. Loyalty loops build trust, and trust is what drives revenue. Now, there are 6 things any of us can do to craft a great loyalty loop. We won't have time to dive into all of them together today, but together with the team at Sugar, we've chosen just a couple to focus on in this session. And here's the deal. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you access to a collection of videos that shows all 6 loyalty loop drivers in action. And I'm going to give you a bonus one about the crucial concern. So don't worry, I'll give you the link before we leave today. Now here's the deal. We don't sell a product or a service, we sell an experience. And an experience takes those doubters and turns them into believers. Now, before we dive into the first loyalty loop driver, just remember, I'm going to be taking your questions at the end. So type them into that Q&A box and we'll get them teed up at the end, all right? Let's dive in to one of the most powerful loyalty loop drivers. Let's talk about scaling camaraderie. In the B2B world, we all know how important relationship building is. Relationships are built on trust, and trust drives revenue. Now, one of the most effective ways to sell more at higher margins faster is to scale camaraderie. Build mutual trust and respect between your team and your prospects fast. To truly understand how to scale camaraderie, let me tell you about Richard Yu. And in order to do this, we need to go back to the first .com boom in the early 2000s. And this is what the web hosting marketplace looked like. Each one of these little cups is a small mom and pop web hosting company. And these little goldfish right here, well, there are the clients. Any company with a website. And the marketplace was dominated by thousands of teeny tiny ISPs. And Richard was one of those ISPs based in San Antonio, Texas. Now, everyone selling web hosting services like Richard's touted their speed, reliability, and their uptime. And web hosting quickly became a commodity, and the prices plummeted. And Richard was at a crossroads. He knew he couldn't compete on price anymore and maintain a viable growing business. He needed to scale up his business, and local wasn't going to work. He'd have to go national or even international. So he set up a massive call center. These little craisins here are Richard's team members, and they went to work trying to convince companies to leave their small mom and pop web host and come to him. Within a few months, it was pretty clear that getting an IT manager like this little fish to switch web hosting companies was harder than Richard thought. When his salespeople, these little craisins, asked those CTOs and IT managers why they didn't want to change to a cheaper, better, bigger, faster service, they'd respond by saying things like, "We know Bob and Deborah at our little web hosting company, and if something goes wrong, I can just drive over there and work on the servers with them." So, it turned out IT managers and CTOs didn't want to split hairs on feeds and speeds. They needed to trust their provider. And Richard's massive, nameless, faceless call center didn't really build a sense of trust. So Richard restructured his entire approach. If he couldn't grow by being a little small company like this, maybe he could grow by acting like a small mom and pop. He decided to divide his massive call center into what he called teams of 4. A salesperson, a senior support person, a junior support person, and an account manager. Every team got a direct phone number, and he assigned their existing clients to each team. Richard went from having a massive call center handling anyone and everyone to having 100 little teams serving specific clients. And suddenly, Richard had the resources of a massive company and the customer experience of a mom and pop. Yeah, Richard started scaling his camaraderie, building mutual trust and respect between each team of 4 and the 200 or so clients each team could service. Immediately, his clients loved it. They couldn't get enough. Some customers called just to chat with their team, and Richard encouraged that. One day, Richard came home from work, turned on MTV, and a show called MTV Fanatic was on. That's when it hit him. What Richard's company provided was fanatical support. Richard's company's support was so good that he could charge 3 times as much as the competition. So instead of selling on speed, reliability, and uptime, Richard could sell the experience. He could sell fanatical support. And he did. Within just a couple of years, Richard's company, Rackspace, became one of the largest web hosting companies in the world, valued at over $10.2 billion. Now, you might think the story ends there, but it doesn't. A few years ago, Richard left the company he founded and retired, and slowly, the company lost sight of their focus on fanatical support. Instead, they focused on new features, new technology, new stuff. Today, the $10.2 billion web hosting company that used to sell the best customer experience in the world is worth less than $4.2 billion, 60% less than when they scaled camaraderie. You see, in the B2B world, there's nothing more powerful than building a relationship with a small team of individuals and the people you're servicing. What if we focused on scaling our team's camaraderie? Ask yourself, who would be on your team of 4? I get it. Maybe you don't sell web hosting services, but let's take a couple of seconds just to think about a moment we might be able to scale camaraderie for our experience. How can we build that HD customer experience? Look, we're in the relationship business, and a lot of times that relationship is between the salesperson or maybe an account rep and the client, right? Now, that can be a liability. If the salesperson or account rep leaves and goes to a competitor, they may take a bunch of their customers with them. So scaling camaraderie is all about building a deeper relationship between your brand and the customers you serve. And we can use a simple secret called reverse personalization, all right? Reverse personalization is about introducing more people on your team to your customer or prospect more often. This builds a deeper, more trusted relationship, and it does it really fast. So let's imagine that I've just signed up to work with your company, and we've scheduled a kickoff call for the project. Now, we can scale camaraderie by just simply introducing me, the customer, to one more person that's going to be on the kickoff call. This is a great strategy for the sales handoff, by the way. I might get an email with something like this. Hey Andrew, it's Jeff from XYZ Steel Fabricators. Donna has invited me to our kickoff call on Monday, and I'm so excited to be working with you on your big project. Now, if there's anything specific you want me to address in the meeting or any questions you have, shoot them over as you think of them, and I'll make sure we address them on Monday. That's it, that's the email. See what I mean? Now the relationship is between 2 people from the brand. Now remember, the magic number is 4. Build a relationship with 4 people and your customers, and you'll keep them for longer, and they'll spend up to 25% more. So what is your team of 4? You guys have a question about teams of 4 or scaling camaraderie? Go ahead, type it into the Q&A box, and I'm going to answer it in a few minutes live. Now, all right, let's talk about the second loyalty loop driver that can have a massive impact on our experience and our business. And let's do some yoga. Yeah, I said yoga. Remove friction. Yes, one of the easiest ways to get your prospects to the next moment of commitment is to remove friction from the experience. This is Andrea Stern, and she owns a busy yoga studio in downtown San Francisco. 10 years into running her business, her landlord sold the building she'd been renting for years, and Andrea moved into a new, more expensive studio space. Her rent had increased, and late one night, at the end of the month, Andrea realized she needed a little extra cash to make ends meet. Andrea needed a loan. Now, Andrea had applied for loans before from her bank, and she knew it took at least a month to get the cash. She needed the cash now. We all know what bankers' hours are. No banker is in their office on Saturday night, not one. There's a ton of friction in the traditional banking experience. The paperwork, the hours, the waiting. That's when Andrea found a company called Kabbage, a company that's completely focused on providing small businesses with loans. Kabbage is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They've removed the friction bankers' hours cause. So Andrea got ready to fill out pages of online forms, but there were hardly any. Connect your QuickBooks account, your PayPal account, tell them your social media handles and your website address, and the system goes to work. Kabbage has removed the friction of all that exhausting paperwork. 6 minutes later, at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night, Andrea had her loan. Kabbage instantly transferred the money to her PayPal account, and she went to sleep knowing her rent was paid. As of this year, Kabbage has loaned $1 billion, yes, $1 billion with a B, just on nights and weekends. That's in addition to the $4 billion they've loaned to people, businesses just like Andrea's during regular banking hours. Kabbage has removed the friction from every single step of the experience. Removing friction is one of the fastest and most satisfying ways to move someone from a moment of inspiration to a moment of commitment. Now, maybe you're saying, but Drew, I'm in the marketing and sales. I can't overhaul our entire product. What can I do to remove friction? All right, Tony, how's this? You guys are doing tons of webinars. That's great. So is everyone else. Look at these webinar registration forms. They're long. You're asking for so much information. Information you could ask for after they commit to your webinar. Remember, a moment of commitment is any time you trade money, data, or time for information to buy a product or a service or to support a cause. Data and time are just as valuable as money. Look, your webinar registration form asks for more information than you need to enter to tour the U.S. Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Yeah, seriously, we can tour the place the U.S. government prints our money by trading less information than you're asking for to attend a webinar about HR benefits planning in a COVID age. Remove friction. Remove it from every price. Remove it from demos, remove it from feedback forms, remove it from renewals, remove it from meeting invitations and proposals. What if we remove friction from every step in our loyalty loop experience? Ask yourself, what is our Kabbage strategy? Namaste. All right, my friends, before we go buy that car and answer those questions you've been entering into the Q&A box, let's brainstorm just one way we could remove friction in our experience. We're not approving loans, or maybe you're not even doing a ton of webinars. That's okay. Here's what we are doing. We're offering free trials or inviting our prospects to see a demo or set up an appointment to chat. Here's the friction on average, okay? B2B marketers on average are asking for 11 pieces of information. 11. That's a big commitment. And I get it. You want all this information, but why not let the platform do the work for you? Let's get serious about removing just a few of those form fields. Why? Remember, we're trying to build a relationship fast. So what if we remove some of that friction? What if you just ask for my first name and an email address, or maybe a phone number? First of all, your experience is going to be better already than 90% of the competitors out there. It's going to look fast and easy to build that first relationship with you. Now, you've got me through one link on the Slinky, right? Moment of commitment. You've got my contact information. All you need to do is ask for the next piece of information to guide them on their journey. Now, I promise you'll generate more leads faster and you'll build a better relationship with your prospects. And by the way, you can let the platform do the work for you. You can automate that next interaction, right? So what do you think? Can you be brave enough to remove some friction and build better relationships faster? Okay, now we're going to buy a car together as I promised. So here, follow me. Now, I promised we'd buy a car together today, so let's do it. Where did we leave off? Oh, yeah, that terrible email from Terry. So we had an appointment scheduled on Thursday and April 11th to test drive our Audi Q3. Meanwhile, my wife Elizabeth went on a 3-day spa weekend with her college friends in Connecticut. And when she returned, glowing from the amazing treatments at the spa, she offhandedly says, "Hey, I know we were going to test drive the Audi, but I think we should also test drive Elisa's car." You see, Elizabeth spent 3 hours each way in Elisa's car driving to and from the spa, and she loved it. Okay, I say, what kind of car does Elisa have? A Mercedes GLE 350, she says. And I was like, no. If I can't get the Porsche Macan, we're not getting the Mercedes GLE 350. And then she says, let's just go test drive it at Mercedes-Benz of Burlington. That's where Elisa got her car. Look, if you're really keen on this car, I'm happy to go test drive it with you, I say. So we go to the Mercedes-Benz of Burlington website and I fill out their make an appointment form just like Audi's. Now, I didn't research the vehicle. I didn't watch YouTube videos, no Consumer Reports articles. So we show up at the dealership for the appointment. We pull into a parking space that says customers, and we get out of the car, and right there is a black Mercedes GL 350 and a guy named Bruce. Bruce walks over and says, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Davis, would you like to test drive this Mercedes GLE 350 in black?" And we're like, "Yeah, we do." Now, I don't know the legal ramifications of this, but he doesn't take my driver's license or ask for insurance or anything. He just says, "Let's get in the car." He's removing friction and building a relationship immediately. He's creating an experience. So I go to get in the driver's side and Elizabeth walks around to the other side and I think she's getting in the car, but all of a sudden she pokes her head in the window and she says, "Hey, look, I spent 6 hours in Elisa's car. I'm not going to go for the test drive. I'll see you when we get back." And I'm like, no, babe. We talked about this. Unified force. You never separate at a car dealership. Babe, unified force. And then she's gone, right? So now it's 21 minutes, me and Bruce driving around, and all I'm thinking is, oh my gosh, I bet she's signing the papers right now. This lease is going to be so expensive. I do not want this car. We get back and I try to be courteous to Bruce and I'm like, "Bruce, we've got to find my wife." Now, the dealership is very nice inside. It's a Mercedes dealership, but I want to point out that this Mercedes dealer doesn't do anything any dealership couldn't do to craft a great loyalty loop experience. "Bruce, we've got to find my wife." And he's like, "I know where she is." So we walk past the new cars, down a hallway and into a nice waiting area with an awesome espresso bar. And my wife's not there. Now I'm really panicking. I'm like, oh man, she's definitely in the finance office. And I'm like, "Bruce, she's not here." And he's like, no, don't worry. If she's not here, I know exactly where she is. So we walk past the service department, past the bathrooms, and now he opens a frosted glass door to reveal the nail salon. And there's my wife sitting right there getting her nails done. And I'm like, babe, what the heck are you doing? And she's like, I'm getting my nails done. Did you know that anytime you bring your car in for service at the Mercedes-Benz in Burlington, you can get your nails done for free? And I was like, babe, in 17 years, you've never taken the car in for service. Not once, never. And she says, I will now. Today, we drive the most well-serviced Mercedes-Benz GLE 350 in the world. Bruce. Yeah, Bruce, right? A great experience sold that car. We spent 4 times as much almost than we were on our Nissan Murano to lease a beautiful Mercedes. That is very, very nice, but we had no chance of buying that without a great experience. So that's the key. I want you to think about your moments of commitment and the experience you provide after that. I want you to attach an emoji as you get back to work today or tomorrow and think about what is the emoji experience you're providing. What would your customer or client attach to every single interaction? Because that's the impression you're leaving. All right, now we're going to get to questions in just a second. I promised I would give you access to the PDF and a bunch of videos that'll help you. If you go to loyaltyloopers.com, I do a weekly video series about loyalty loop stuff. It's called the Loyalty Loop. It's ideas designed to help you actually execute a great loyalty loop and generate revenue with better experiences. And enter the secret code sweet as sugar. If you enter the secret code, I'll send you that stuff. That's how I know what to send you. So make sure you enter it when you sign up there at loyaltyloopers.com. All right, Sarah, you ready? Let's do some questions. We have a few minutes for that, I hope. I'm sorry, it's like exactly noon, so if you have to go, I totally understand. But let's get to questions and dive right in. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Let's go through them pretty quickly. So the first one is, can you run through the 6 loyalty loop drivers again?
Yes, absolutely. Let me give them to you really quick. Here we go. Raise anticipation for the experience, the next step in the journey. Maximize the honeymoon phase. That means when is your client or prospect or consumer at the highest peak of enthusiasm? That's when you want to ask for the referral. That's when you want to ask for the review. That's when you want to ask them for the upsell or the cross-sell, all right? Re-inspire them. Too many of us have service agreements that we haven't touched base with the client in very long, and then all of a sudden they leave. We need to re-inspire our clients and customers constantly to take a new loop around our consumer journey and have a better experience. Number 4, answer trigger questions. Anytime there's a trigger question in the mind of a prospect or a consumer or a client that you've already got, we need to answer those questions with as little friction as possible. We know the questions they're asking. Let's answer them. Number 5, remove friction from any step in the experience anywhere you can. And number 6, scale camaraderie. Build that mutual trust and respect between your clients, your prospects, your customers, and the people behind the brand, and you'll build a much more loyal customer and client base. All right, that was fast. Sorry about that.
No, that's good. Next question. You focused on how the loyalty loop works for clients and customers. Can this be used internally as well?
Yes, absolutely. Think about raising anticipation. I had a friend who was having trouble getting his team to show up to their team meetings on time for every Monday meeting, or I can't remember what day. They were coming at 12:05 or 12:10 and showing up late. So what he did was he sent out an email saying that I will be announcing something really interesting and exciting at 11:59 a.m. on Monday, right before the meeting. If you're not there, you won't hear the thing. And that's raising anticipation for the meeting. Guess what? Everybody showed up on time. And you got to make sure you deliver on that promise. You can't not have something interesting to say or tell them. But that kind of raising anticipation works internally. Scaling camaraderie, they all work. If interdepartmentally, and they provide a framework for creating better teamwork and acknowledgement, even maximizing the honeymoon phase. When somebody does a good job, that's when you really want to make sure everybody knows and hears it.
Oh, that's awesome. Next question. How do we shorten the active evaluation phase so we can start building a relationship with our audience and prospects faster?
This is a good question. I don't know if this question was from Mitch or Mario or what, but that's a good one, because see, a lot of people want to dive right into active evaluation, and there is a way to shorten that, and here's the key. You've actually got to have a better understanding of the moment of inspiration for the clients and customers that end up signing up for you. You know, you get a lot of times we're just trying to combat for the keywords that are way far down the active evaluation loop. What we want to do is get them right at their moment of inspiration, get inside their head and answer those trigger questions so that they can figure it out. So that's the short answer. Focus on the moment of inspiration, not trying to battle it out in active evaluation, and just understand what their prime brand is and then answer that trigger question and get them to a moment of commitment as fast as possible, and you'll start building a better relationship faster.
Awesome. I love the speed talking as we're going through some of these questions.
Yay.
Got two other questions. Next one, how do you go about identifying the MOI or the moments of inspiration for your clients or customers?
Oh, this is a great one. Well, you know, if you're trying to find the MOI for your clients, the moment of inspiration for your clients, one of the easiest things to do is ask the next client you sign up. And you've got to ask a super secret question, all right? The super secret question, oh, I won't write it down because we're running out of time. I'll just tell you on my secret camera. The super secret question you want to ask them is, what inspired you to ... What inspired you to ... So what inspired you to go on a journey to find some new accounting software? Now that question is very specifically phrased because we want to try to identify the moment. They might say, well, we used to use software X, Y, and Z, but it's such a pain in the ass to import into, you know, our Excel documents that we were really frustrated with it. And so we went looking for a new software solution. That's showing you the moment of inspiration. And let me just demonstrate quickly how that can lead to answering a trigger question. If you hear that, then you can create a video tutorial that's like how to import your, you know, your bank statements into Excel faster than using, you know, XYZ accounting software. And they're going to find the answer to that question and then be introduced to your brand. And you could say, sign up for new tutorials about accounting every Monday. And now you've got them to that moment of commitment. That's the way I want you to think. Ask the clients and customers you get what inspired them to ... and you'll start uncovering those moments of inspiration. There aren't that many. Maybe you think there's a million. No, it ends up being like less than a dozen usually for any brand.
Awesome. And then last question, this sounds so effective, but where do you recommend we start building a loyalty loop in our own company?
Okay, I always recommend you start at the moment of commitment. Start with the very next client or customer you sign up and just look at that very first interaction. Like when they sign up or they sign up for a meeting or when they've got their kickoff call, what exactly are you doing? Like I want you to do it on a micro level. Remember, think of it as the slinky. I want you to think of every little step you're doing and what emoji would you attach to that, and just start with changing one little interaction. That confirmation email for an appointment or a kickoff call. Fix it so you're scaling camaraderie. Add something new from the loyalty loop drivers and see what kind of reaction you get. What you're looking for is people saying, oh my gosh, what a great welcome email. I'm so excited about the meeting. Boom, that means it works. You're leaving the right kind of emoji. And a lot of platforms even have sentiment analysis. You can see if your clients or prospects are happy or sad or annoyed or frustrated. You want to start using that to build a better experience. I know we're running out of time, so I went really fast, but start with the moment of commitment.
No, that's great. And I just want to call out a couple of these awesome comments I'm seeing coming in. Somebody said, Ralph said, a really cool show with Drew. I have to learn and adopt. Oh, and then I need those glasses as well. We got a lot of comments on your glasses too, so everyone loves those. Oh, just real quick question. Ralph asked, have you written any books on this method before?
Oh, Ralph, you're such a great guy. I have not written the book yet. I have a big draft of a book that needs some work. So if you sign up for loyaltyloopers.com, you'll be the first to know when the book is actually out. So I'm hoping early 2022 maybe. So it's in the works, but I appreciate you asking.
Well, Drew, thank you so much for answering all these questions and joining us at Sugar. We've had a blast going through all these loyalty loop drivers with you. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.
Will do. Bye. Thanks, everybody.